Hey LinkedIn, was just kind of dealing with some different projects this week and thinking about pricing and things related to sales. One thing that comes up, throughout the years, I've been doing this for about 17 years, and it's, you always want to get a good deal. You always want to get it as cheap as possible. But one thing I've found over the years, whether I'm buying something or even if I'm selling something, and I've seen it play out many, many times, but the cheapest option can often end up being the most expensive option. In other words, you buy a cheap faucet, and it breaks, and you have to do it again, and you have to buy, you have to get fix it, and you end up like people coming out to fix it, the plumber or whatever. Next thing you know, that cheap faucet, you just paid $1,000 for it, or you can just do it right the first time. And I, growing up with my dad, the way my dad was, he would always just kind of ingrain in me of this idea of like, quality, and do it right the first time. And he would always buy, it always inspired me because he would invest in the highest quality thing. He had a fascination with high quality things, and I do too. So it's like, whether it's a watch or it's like a suit or a bag or whatever, like, there's something to be said for just high quality things. And I think even if you have a service, product or service, just like, it's worth investing in a high quality thing. It could be a high quality person, it could be a high quality team, but somehow, in my opinion, the cheapest option is almost never worth it, and yeah, maybe you got to invest a little bit more money, but the reality is paying that little bit more for the higher quality thing or the nicer thing, I think is worth it every day of the week. And I've found that that's been true in my life. And but business the way it is, and you try to negotiate the best deal, and I think you should, but always leave some money on the table for the person delivering it. Make sure you're paying for quality. So even if you are getting 3 quotes, take a look at that. Really look at like which one's going to be the quality team, the quality player, and things like that, because they are not equal, despite the appearances of them being able, like maybe they quote unquote do the same thing or something like that, but 9 times out of 10 it's not. And there's going to be even a quality culture, quality core values, whatever, and sometimes that means paying a little bit more. But if you get the outcome, and let's say the outcome is 10x what you paid, 10x, 20x what you paid, it's worth it, and then we've had customers sometimes where they go and they take a cheaper option and then come back. This is real. Like, this has happened many times where maybe they come back, 6 months later or a year later, something like that, and we'll be like, how did it go? What happened? And it's like they ghosted them. They didn't show up. It wasn't great, or we had to redo it. And so, bit of a rant, but and I'm probably not saying anything you don't already know, but it's a good reminder of like, not always pull towards the cheapest. And also, just if you're a service provider or you have a product, like, maybe invest higher quality. Like, being the cheapest is not always the best, right? You want to invest in quality and making sure that you have sufficient margin to build the product you need to build, and make it what it should be, and make it the thing that the customer actually wants. Maybe every now and then there's something where cheap makes sense. I don't know what it is. I can't think of it right now. But I think investing in quality is 9 times out of 10 the better play.